Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be replacing the door lock actuator on 2015 Acura TLX. The issue we're having is that the latch here will not spring closed. So you can see here it just kind of stays there. You can bring it back with your finger and go back and forth. So what ends up happening when we close the door, it won't stay shut. So you can slam it and it won't stay shut. Here are the tools you're going to need to do this job. You need a flathead screwdriver or a small pick, the bone tool, a 1/4-inch ratchet, Phillips, and a T30 socket, or a T30 bit, or a socket if you have it, and a 10mm. I used most of these tools on my drill. You don't need a drill, so if you have basic handles, that'll work just fine. And of course, the door lock actuator. So we have 2 small covers and 3 Phillips screws. There's going to be a cover right under here, and the second cover right behind the door handle right here. So right here in the door handle, you'll see we have a little notch right here. We can just get in here and pry that down, remove this, and you'll see a Phillips right here and right here. And then right under this little mat, you can reach in, pull this back, and you'll see another Phillips right in there. So we'll get these 3 screws out and move on to the door panel clips. We're also going to want to have the window all the way down, so it makes it easier when we remove the door panel right here. Now we're going to start pulling off the door panel clips, which are all along the edges here. We're going to start on the bottom right corner over there. Now you don't need a tool like this, but this definitely helps where you can come in between the door panel and the body of the door. Kind of shove this in here, and now you can grab from here and just pull back to remove the clips. Now you don't need it. You can definitely try to sneak your hand in here and just pull on it till you get it off, but having a small tool like this to get in between here, and then you grab it from here to pull back, that'll definitely help in removing the door panel. And now from here, we're going to remove the rest of the clips on this side, and in this part, we're not going to pull this way, we're actually going to slide it up. And now continue to hold it right here, because there are electrical connections and some bouting cables for the door handle here. So don't just let this fall, kind of hold it a little bit. So this white connector here will be the first one we unplug. And inside here, there's a little clip that you can slide in over here. Once you slide in the little clip, you can remove the connector. And there's that little locking tab right here. Now for the connectors over here, you don't actually need to remove every single one. What you can do is grab it, and you see this gray clip right here? If you can pry it off with your hand, and the whole thing will come off. Now for the bouting cables right here, this is for the door handle. You don't need to remove anything from the cable side. There's a small clip right here. You just lift this up, and it'll unlock the whole holder, and then you just slide it out. Okay, and we could just let this hang here. Now right up here, right next to the door handle, you also have 2 connectors. Just go ahead and undo those. There's another blue one that's hiding right in there, but it's a simple clip as well. And these clips right here, they slide down. There's an opening right here, so you don't need to pry them off. Just slide them off to the side. See, there's an opening here, so just slide in and out. And then you also have, this is that first connector we removed. You can slide these out here. This is one, I believe you do need to pry it off. You can get under here. Now further on down, continue with the wire harness, you have another one right here, and another small connector for the light. So we're almost done with all the connections here. Next is unclipping here. Squeeze these tabs in. That can slide right on out. And this one over here, again, this slides up, no need to pry it on it. We have 3 more connectors. We'll undo this one here. We have the one for the door switch. This door switch connector is a 2-part lock. See this little white tab, you lift up on it and it's gonna swing out. So I unlocked it here and it's gonna swing out. Just keep pushing this way, like that. And then you can bring it out. And then the last connector is under here. So we'll squeeze that in. So now we have detached all the wire connectors from the door panel. Put this to the side. Now when it comes to this vapor seal here, don't just go ahead and rip everything apart. Like, don't just grab this and pull it down and rip this seal. This is actually a vapor seal, so in case it is raining, this prevents the water from coming into your car. So you want to just come in here with the blade and just slowly cut this away. And I know it's a lot easier and tempting to just rip this all apart, but I urge you not to, because if you rip this seal, you risk whenever it rains for water to come into your car and get the carpet right here wet. Right in this part area, there's a bracket right here, held on by 2 Phillips screwdrivers. So I went ahead and removed those because the plastic is under this. Otherwise, you won't be able to remove it. So now at this point, we have this vapor barrier right here. I don't remove it all the way because all we need access to is this little door right here. But the window now needs to come back up. So you can see right here that the glass is in the way. So removing the door lock won't be possible. So we got to bring the door panel back, reconnect the connector that functions the switches, bring the window up, and then disconnect it again. So see, I'm holding the door panel and I just reconnected just the one connector down here, the big one with the white clip. And now I'm going to come in on the other side and roll up the window. Now that your window's up, you can come back over here and disconnect the connector again. And yes, it's a pain to have to do this. It's not fun. So this is the part. It says Honda, but I went to Acura to get it. This is the part number right here. Now there's a couple things you need to be cautious about whenever we're going to remove this door lock actuator, especially considering it's the driver door. So you know how whenever you go to unlock your car with the key, like the actual key shank that's hidden inside your remote, and you go to turn the tumbler, you're actually turning something inside of here, and it's a little metal rod that sticks out about that long that connects to the tumbler. So this is the tumbler right here, and you can see that the door lock actuator is about right there. So they're pretty close, and there's a little metal rod that connects right here. So when you turn your key here, it can unlock the door. Right behind here, right there, that's that metal rod. And you can break it if you remove this in a certain way. So I'm going to show you how to do it so you don't break this. Okay, these 3 screws here, these are T30s. I'll go ahead and remove those. Okay, so to give you guys a better idea on how this works, so this is the door lock actuator, how it is in your car. So you see the connector here and the connector right there. So on the back side, you see that rod I'm talking about. I'll show you how to remove this so we don't damage that. Now there's another rod that goes deep into this hole and it sticks out about this long right here. So when we remove this, we're gonna wanna angle forward as much as we can, and we're gonna go down to release the rod. Once the rod is released, we'll turn this way, and that will prevent this little rod from breaking. It's designed in a way to be able to angle down like this, so you could turn away and pull it out. I'll go ahead and show you on camera though. So first we're gonna need to remove this 10mm screw right here. This just holds a guide for the window to ride up and down. So this is where the screw came out. And if you go in just on the inside, you'll see it's this guide right here. And now we have this movement. This is the movement we need in order to pull out the door lock actuator. And now if we look on the inside, so you see this rod? That yellow tab up there, we're not gonna touch. You're gonna leave that guy alone, but you'll see how the rod extends up to right here? But the entrance is up here, so it sticks out quite a bit. So that's why we need to bring this whole thing down. And then that middle rod that I'm talking about, you can see it up there. So we're going to start to slide this whole thing down. I'm going to angle it to come by, to bypass this. But before we start angling, we're going to make sure that rod is out of the slot. As best I can to show you, keep coming down. So remember, we push forward as much as we can, and we just slide down. And we're turning at the same time. Make sure that rod up there doesn't get damaged. And once we are out of the slot right here, I can start angling and turning the whole thing. So I know the top rod is off, the bottom one is off, so this is just that turning motion. So I'm turning in, getting it past that point, and it'll release. So again, here's the old one. That big long rod goes in there. The rod for your key goes right here. Alright, so here we go one more time. I want to show you what it looks like. See if I can get a good view here. So here, this is that rod for your key. Right there, you can see it's still intact. It did not break it. So when it comes to install it, we're going to have to blindly angle this into the slot. But before we do that, we have to angle this big rod into the slot at the bottom. So on the old one, we do need to get the handle detached so we could reattach it to the new one. Just get a small flathead, get in here and pry it open, and we can swing the door out, and you'll see the latches right here. Now these you could just pull off by hand. We just do need to keep in mind where they go and how they latch on so we can install them onto it. So we're going to swing this out this way, get it to release, and it'll come right out. This one's a little different where we have to angle up and out. See that little angle right there? So now we'll go ahead and discard this, bring in the new one. So this one is already semi-opened. So we'll start with the little one here. Insert it in here. Once it's in, angle down and push into place. Okay, now that's locked in. Now for the bigger one, slides in, and then from here we just turn it this way so it locks in place. Route it through its spot, clip in, you're good to go. Then we'll just go ahead and close this. Clip and clip, and you're good. So now we have your door handle on your new door latch. Try to remember the angle you were at when you were removing it, because that's the same angle you're going to go in going back into the car. So I had this angled in like this, and I have it angled in because I'm trying to get by window guide on this side. Remember, it's loose, so we could guide it forward. And the guide, so we want the guide to come down this way, so I'm angling it this way, moving the guide forward, and I'm gonna just swoosh it around like that. So I have the guide over here with my hand, So right here, I'm just pushing it forward, and I can angle this forward and kind of make it go around it. So this is the window guide. So all I was doing is pushing this forward, and then this I just angled it in so it's behind the window guide. So now from here, this little rod, we need to aim that inside the yellow slot right there. So you see here I have mine going into the slot now. Now I need to worry about that rod up on top. So I'm going to angle this down, and then with my other hand, I'm sorry I have to put the camera down, but I'm going to angle it into that slot with doing the least amount of bending as possible. I have the rod fitted into place. You can see right here. You want to test this obviously before you put the whole thing back together. The 3 screws in right here. Don't go down all the way, just kind of start them, and you're going to notice whenever you go to put the screws in, they're not going to line up. So you need to bring your hand in over here and push in with your hand to make those holes line up, and then just start them by hand. And now with your left hand turning lock, you're going to want to look lock indicator and see if it moves. To lock and unlock, lock and unlock. So I'm turning the key with my left hand and I'm holding this with my right. Here you can see it's working. So if you see this, congratulations, you put the rod in the correct spot. So now we could just put everything back in reverse order. We're going to start with that 10mm right there. We'll go ahead and put this on a time lapse. If anything is of importance, I'll go ahead and stop the video and do a little more explanation. Well, so if you go to put this on and you see how this hole doesn't line up, chances are the guide right here for the window fell down a little bit. It's not a big worry, just slide it back a little bit, and with your hand just force it back up and see if it lines up, just like that. Now you can just put your screw in. When installing the door panel back on, there's a like a guide or a slit. So from here you just gotta line up those clips, give it a few taps. Once you have the whole car assembled, just give it one last test. Close that door, make sure it latches. It's not pulling. This opens and closes. So if you liked the video, if you learned something, if I helped you save some money, consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.